Hey everybody, welcome to Toolkit Tuesdays. If you're coming back, thanks for coming back. If it's your first time, I appreciate you joining us. I hope you enjoy it. We do these once a month. They're 20 minutes, 25 minutes long. We're probably going to cut today's a little bit short. We got hurricane slash tropical storm Debbie just kind of beating up this side of the world. My kids like to joke that I live in the sticks and I have intermittent internet as it is. But with the weather rolling through, I just don't want to risk being fighting the internet trying to get this done. So I won't short you on quality, but I might cut this a little bit shorter. So if that is the case, just know that this will be recorded. It'll be put on YouTube. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. If I have to jump off of here and answer them via email, just make sure I have your email in that. Just include that with your question. This will be, like I said, shared on YouTube, but I might not answer your question on video, so I might have to email it to you if you have to pop off here for some hurricane or non-hurricane related reason. So as always, if you like or find today useful, please share, like, subscribe, all the YouTube things. We're going to continue to bring these up at the beginning of a lot of these early sessions, just to refresh our minds on the fact that, number one, you can't give what you don't possess, right? So we talked about that last time. We're going to talk about that a little bit more again in depth. And number two, you never graduate from the school of self-improvement. So if you've reached some sort of plateau, take a look around. There's probably somewhere you should be going. We talked about this guy last time. This is a Sherpa. They're a people group. They live in they're who help us climb great big mountains like Mount Everest, right? So they have that natural acclimation to elevation, being born 13 to 15,000 feet above sea level. They have this like superpower to be able to scale up and down this mountain. So if you were to ask them, we talked about this in last month with a little bit more in depth. So if you're curious, you can go back and watch July's tool. But we talked about their ability to climb up and down this mountain while helping others do it, and how much of an analogy, like that's just a perfect analogy for what we think or what we know a healthy leader should be. It's not how many times you've made it to the top, it's how many people you've been able to make it, help make it, and how healthy you were during that so that you were able to do so successfully. And we talked about this tool last month as well. So I'm not going to go over the entire tool, but today's kind of builds off of this is the 100x indicator, 100 being a representation of your health from anywhere between 0 and 100. And the X is representing your ability to multiply, not just health, but all your skills, whether they're hard skills or soft skills. Are you multiplying them? Are you multiplying the fact that you are healthy into all the people in all circles of your influence? So today's tool is a tool we talked about in the very, very first toolkit session. It's where we take a hard skill, and we use Joe, the mechanic, as an example, occupying a leadership position because he's the best mechanic. He can turn wrenches like nobody else, is what we said. So on a scale, on this far left column over here, on a scale from 0 to 10, this individual's performance is an 8. A little bit of room for improvement there, but doing pretty solid, right? So just ask yourself, when it comes to your particular job, how well are you doing? How well are you personally performing? Get some other people involved in this part of the assessment if you're not sure. How well do you think you're doing your job? Maybe you just picked up a new position, maybe some new expectations were added. Maybe you don't even have clarity on all those expectations and you're not sure, and your boss is thinking you're a 5 when you're thinking you're a 7, and the people you're leading think you're a 9, right? So it kind of depends on different perspectives, but ask the question. I would encourage you to go ask other people how well you're performing. And if your boss, if you have one, is not regularly updating you on where they see you on this, I would encourage you to start having those conversations and prompting those for your own growth, and you'd be kind of influencing them to do the right thing from below as well. Now, if we look on the right, it's a completely different scale. We're looking at how well you're doing at leading other performers. And over here we have a 2. So you can be an 8 doing your job, but a 2 when it comes to leading others. And if you're not intentionally developing your ability to lead other performers, that number is going to stay the same, possibly get worse. You're going to undermine your influence, right? Which is something that leaders do all the time. So I would encourage you, again, given the right setting and the right maturity and people around, to ask other people how well they see you when it comes to your leadership capability. Like, yeah, hey, we really think you're able to do your job real well. However, when it comes to leading other people, you're missing the mark. Or maybe they think you're stellar at the leadership piece and not so great at the performance piece. But I would encourage you to do some self-examination on this. Uh, really be honest with yourself, and then ask other people their perspective, and take that criticism if it is whatever type of criticism. If there's criticism, take it as constructive, convert it to constructive, even if it doesn't feel that way. We are not the best judge of what it's like to be on the other side of us. And again, we brought this up. So we got to stay humble, asking yourself, what's it like to be on the other side of you? What's it like to be on the other side of me as a performer when it comes to doing my job? What's it like to be someone who leads me, right? If you're asking a boss, what's it like to be led by me when it comes to my hard skill of performing my task, my actual job? Do I know my role? Do I have clarity? Those are some other tools and breakdowns that we'll do in the future. And then how well am I at the actual leadership piece of it? And if you get rated low, there's room for improvement. Even if you get rated a 9, right? Well, what could I do better? And that's not to say don't celebrate high ratings. If you get some high ratings, that's awesome. Your next plan should be, okay, so how do I transfer that? If I'm really good at my job, if I'm the best mechanic, if I'm Joe the mechanic and I'm an 8, right? Let's go back to that. Let's say I'm an 8 out of 10 as Joe the mechanic. Do the other people I lead gain from that? Or is that just something I kind of keep within myself? And then we switch over to this other right column. If I am transferring those hard skills, how am I doing at that? Is it being received well? Are they being assessed on what I've taught them? And it's like realistic, practical tools that they're using. And now that I'm saying tools as a mechanic, that might get kind of confusing, but am I teaching what I know? How well is that being taught? Are they picking it up and putting it down? So a little bit of a reflection on today's tool, just like all the previous tools. And really take your time with that thought process. Like I said, I highly encourage you to get other people involved in figuring out where you stand. Really, that's it for today's tool. I did want to talk about next month's real quick. So next month, September 3rd, I am having a guest coach. Eddie Herrera is his name. Super excited to have him on. He's going to teach a tool that I absolutely love called the 5 Circles of Influence. And so 1:15 Eastern Standard Time, September 3rd, hurricane pending. Just kidding. Should be good by then. You'll be able to jump on and learn about the 5 Circles of Influence by Eddie. So I hope you found today useful. Again, thank you for showing up, and we'll see you next month.